To 100% Shovel Knight, I had to make my way through countless enemies, many perilous puzzles, and defeat the entire Order of No Quarter along with their head honcho. And that wasn't even the half of it, no. Yacht Club Games decided that they wanted to make their game truly evil for anyone wanting to 100% it. From having to no-hit multiple boss fights, collect not a single piece of gold for an entire level, drink King Applefish's mysterious liquids, and listen to everyone's favorite frogman and his terrible puns. In total, I completed 45 achievements, beat the game 5 whole times, and had more than one, what I'm gonna call, gamer breaks. I can't do this, I'm going for a walk. As we get into our fresh save file, we are met with our most important decision of the run, creating a name. I settled on Sir Spade for our shovel-swinging hero. After going through some mildly confusing body swap settings, we were ready to start our journey. Now there is some background lore here, but we are going to skip over it pretty quick. Essentially, if you've played any Super Mario game ever, you'll understand. I have a girlfriend. Big Bad steals my girlfriend. I am angry. I want girlfriend back. With that out of the way, we are on to our first level. The controls are pretty basic. WASD to move, space to jump, click to attack. Also, when you jump into the air, you can perform a down attack that lets you bounce on enemies and objects. Some subtle foreshadowing here for the rest of the run. This is how you get through 90% of the game. As we make it to this glowing glass orb, this ends up being our first checkpoint. Next we jump into our first boss fight, and I have to say, it is definitely a first level boss fight. Wow, for a big dragon you aren't putting up much of a fight. Moving on, we make it through the twisty cave system, battle a few more enemies, and come to our first big world secret. Breaking this wall leads to a room with a music sheet and a bunch of diamonds. These music sheets are very important, as I have to find every single one in the game for 100% completion. As we keep going, I actually take my first hit of damage against the dreaded green blob. I got a little overconfident. Eventually our hero makes it to the surface, fights another level 1 dragon boss, and finds himself face to face with another Shovel Knight. I knew you'd show your face sooner or later. The cerulean coward. Turn back, there's nothing here for you anymore. Actually my girlfriend is at that castle, so... As the dialogue continues, our friend sheds light on the main baddie of the land, the Enchantress, as well as her Order of No Quarter. You will not be stealing my shovel? He just sits there and laughs at me. As I use and abuse the downward shovel attack, we make short work of Black Knight. This better not be the best the Enchantress has to throw at me. First level down, and I get my first achievement. Beat a level without dying. That first level was baby food. This will be easy. Turns out, I was wrong. Very, very wrong. As I completed this girlfriend hurtling towards the ground minigame... Oh, uh-oh. Okay, no, I got her. I also get an achievement for putting out the campfire. Next I visit the village. Coming up to the town fountain, I speak to the NPC I will be calling Banjo Knight for the rest of the playthrough. This guy is the key to making it through every level, defeating every Order of No Quarter lackey, and grabbing my girlfriend from the Enchantress's clutches. Not actually. He's just a side character, but I do give him the music sheets from each level, and he'll play a funky little tune for me. So that's pretty cool. Quick rundown of these three. Goatman gives you meal tickets. Spend meal tickets to gain an extra heart at Chef Guy. Magic Woman lets you carry more magic points. Next we go down to the pub. There are a few more characters down here, but mostly unimportant. Now, as we go into the next room, we are finally graced by the presence of the icon himself, Frogman. His actual name is Croaker, and he's great at puns. Hey, Shovel Knight, I know things are tough, but don't throw in the trowel. Alright, buddy. I actually have to remember to come back and talk to this guy after each level, as listening to every one of his brilliantly crafted puns is needed for 100% completion. Once I leave the village, I am met with a choice of what level to do next. While I consider my options, you should consider subscribing. If you've enjoyed the video so far and want to be notified next time I decide to put myself through the extreme torture that is 100%ing a game, subscribe. It's much appreciated. I decided to do the castle level because the other one looks too spooky. One thing you should know about this game is that it has hidden areas everywhere. Knowing this, I immediately head left when I get in the level to find another music sheet to give to Banjo Knight. With that collected, I make my way through the castle. I encounter these new dashing enemies that go much faster than I expected. I don't really know what I was expecting exactly. I mean, they're literally a horse with like the jousting stick thing. There are also lots of cauldrons that drop lava on your head if you don't time it correctly. In my case, I'm kinda goated, so I avoid them. I finally come up to this wizard enemy and I discover that you can deflect projectiles by just hitting them with your shovel. Dude, our guy has a shovel made out of Beskar or something. I continue my way through the level, past these falling chandeliers, and up to this Shovel Knight-shaped hole in the wall. Using my immense gamer intuition, I go up to it and I'm transported to a secret room. I cross the secret room and come face to face with everyone's favorite wandering salesman, Chester. After purchasing a fire wand for 1,000 gold, magic items apparently do not come cheap in this realm, I get the achievement for purchasing my first item. I head back the way I came and decide to test the wand on some wizards. This thing does no damage. Chester's just a scam artist. After that, I fight one of this level's mini-bosses. I must say, the mini-bosses in this game do not seem very scary. Barely a threat even, but I also could just be a master shoveler. After the boss fight, I make my way through the rest of the level, grab another music sheet, and make it to the final checkpoint. Now, I did take a look at the achievements and saw that I had to destroy all checkpoints in a level and still win, so I've been doing that throughout this level because it's the second level in the game. I mean, how hard could it really be? The main boss in this level is also not that scary. He kind of just prances around like a ballerina and lets you bonk him on the head with your shovel. This will definitely be a boss I farm achievements on later. After beating the level, we fight this little knight enemy that spawned on the map. If you've watched this far, you'll see this game and any classic Super Mario Bros. Game have a lot in common. There'll be random enemies that appear on the map, and if you run into them, you play through a short level to earn some more gold. After completing this, I head back to the village, return the lost music sheets to Banjo Knight, increase my health points again, spend the rest of my gold on a fishing rod and a Trove chalice. I also shovel bounce on this little kid's toy hoop, as for whatever reason, it gives you an achievement. I then notice that I have unlocked another spot on the map. I enter this place with my Trove chalice in hand, and am greeted by King Applefish. Turns out he is a Trove. Get it? Because it's like a trout mixed with an apple, like a Trove. Get it? After the Trove King does his happy dance, he shoots his mysterious red liquid into my chalice. I also grab myself the Trove Acolyte achievement. After being scarred by the Trove King and his mysterious liquid, I was ready to move on to level 3, Spooky Town. I mean, just look at this place. It screams scary Halloween vibes. As I traverse through this level, I run into many skeletal and ghostly enemies. Ooh, spooky ghost. I finally arrive at this level's mini-boss. Ah, see, this is a better mini-boss. Well, he still wasn't very tough. He at least chased you around and felt more like a stronger enemy that would be guarding something important. After defeating the boss, I run into this level's main gimmick, the light switch. See, in the outdoor portions of this level, it is thundering and lightninging, and you have to wait for the flash of lightning to be able to see what's around you. Honestly, it's a pretty simple but cool mechanic that works very well in Spooky Town. I go on through this area, solve some more puzzles, and eventually come to this sparkling abyss. After using my newly acquired fishing rod, I pull up a lone troupple. I gotta get out of here, man. It's not safe here. He offers to fill my chalice, but it is still full of the red liquid from earlier, so he jumps back into the chasm. I then head to another secret room and run into the one and only Chester. He sells me the phase locket, which allows me to briefly be invincible at the cost of magic points. I continue on my way, have the world's most awkward 1v2. Dude, stop backing up. I need to hit one of you. And end up at the main boss of this level. Oh, here we go. This is a proper boss fight. Hey, I don't even think she's dead, dude. This boss is actually much tougher than our friend King Knight from earlier. He had way more attacks and patterns than either of the bosses I'd fought previously. He even turned off the lights. Blood is a freak. After stripping Spectre Knight of his clothing, I walked away with glory as my shovel remains unbeaten. I play another Catch Girlfriend Before Girlfriend Go Splat minigame and then head back to the village. I complete all the normal village tasks like speaking to Frogman and play through a couple more minigames. I just want to say something. This game does really well in having all these extra little side things to do besides just the main levels. Lots of different minigames that will even sometimes highlight some of the magical items you get throughout your travels, such as this one that uses the power of the phase locket to travel across spikes that would otherwise kill you. It just feels really nice getting to complete all these different challenges, and they act almost as an intermission between main objectives. After playing through the 2 minigames, I head back to the village and go to the tavern down below. I speak to this green-haired lady. She does a dance for me. Dang! Girl, someone's gotta sign you to the WNBA. I then go through a secret door to play yet another minigame. After completing this game, Lady Mona gives me the Juggler achievement. Heading into the next level, things are already looking sketchy. Explosions everywhere, green goo dripping off the walls. Yup. I've officially walked into the Empress's meth lab. Saying these enemies are annoying to deal with would be an understatement. I die more times in this level than all the other ones combined. Eventually I meet Chester, again, who this time sells me the alchemical coin. It's basically a little coin you throw that slides along the ground and damages enemies. The mini-boss here is a mad scientist that drinks a potion to turn himself into a big Yeti monster. Similar to most other bosses so far, you can use the shovel bounce to make light work of him. Brother, I have been shovel bouncing this whole game. You're not special. Easily shovel bounce and he's gone. Finally, I roll up to Plague Knight. This boss is definitely the most chaotic so far. Bombs flying everywhere, platforms getting destroyed, and me wondering who decided that this guy was fit to lead an evil army. After a solid minute of chaos, I shovel bounce his head into oblivion. After I leave, a new mini-boss appears on the map. Turns out he's this kid from a village that mistakes me for who I can only assume is Black Knight. We are completely different colors, but here we are. He proceeds to throw some boomerangs and jump around. After I take him out, he realizes that we are not enemies and wishes me on my merry way. After repeatedly hitting that child on the head with my shovel, I see I've unlocked a new village on the map. This ends up being where you can buy upgrades for both your shovel and your armor. I buy all 3 shovel upgrades, digging up piles in one scoop, charge attack, and shovel beam. This lands me the Master Shoveler achievement. In this village, there is a strange hat shop where every customer just casually asks you for a $1,000 loan. Me being the selfless and humble hero I am, I give each of them what they need. This gives me the nice hat achievement. This also spawns a secret boss fight with Mr. Hat, the owner of the shop. 2 things. 1. In a land where everyone is a knight, why not name him Hat Knight? 2. I do not want to know what this guy does to his hats in his free time. This boss has the unique mechanic of changing attacks depending on what hat he's wearing. After defeating him, he then apologizes and flees the scene. I then go to leave the village, but I am met with yet another wandering boss fight. I'm not sure what the design team was going for on this guy, but he's like a cross between Zeus, Tarzan, and a Viking. After leaving him blubbering about on the ground, I finally move on to level 5. Splashing into this level, the first thing I realize is that unfortunately, no 2D platformer can ever escape a water-based level. The main gimmick in this stage is of course the water physics. Every jump goes about 3 times higher than normal, which sounds cool until you realize it also means missing your landing and falling directly into a pit. I stumble upon this chest and try to search it when it starts to move. Turns out this is the dungeon's mini-boss. It's an anglerfish that chases you through a short set of obstacles and then will fight you. This is definitely my favorite mini-boss so far, as it feels like the stakes are higher than any of the other ones I've fought. Naturally, Chester shows up again, because I guess he's just been hanging out in this creature's chest this whole time. This time he sells me the anchor relic. Basically a big throwable anchor that arcs through the air. It's okay. I go fishing in my 5th Sparkling Chasm and get the Master Angler achievement. Finally, the big man himself, Treasure Knight. Imagine a scuba diver, except he's built like a tank and carries a giant anchor gun. He's actually one of the easiest main bosses I've fought so far. He shoots his anchor, you bounce on his head, cycle repeats. Down he goes, sinking back into the depths with his ill-gotten loot. After defeating this boss, I get the halfway achievement. I then go back to the second village, purchase the Louis Vuitton armor that, just like in real life, grants no actual bonuses other than making it look like I'm wealthy. This level is filled with fire and lava hazards. I navigate my way through the tunnels, make friends with this lava-impervious beetle, and only fall into lava a couple of times. Chester shows up again, because this guy clearly has a monopoly on relics. He sells me the dust knuckles, which let you punch through dirt blocks in a straight line. This thing is actually pretty decent. It turns the digging puzzles into speed tunnels. The mini-bosses in this level are pretty mid. They're these big, I want to say mole-looking dudes with pointy sticks. Finally, we meet Mole Knight. The mole mini-bosses make sense now. This guy is quite literally a mole. He digs through the arena, popping out at random times to attack you. Once you get the timing of his attacks down, he's not much of an issue. After Mole Knight is carried away by his army of pet moles, I move on. There are a couple more mini-games to play through. The Dust Knuckle one is particularly enjoyable. I also grab myself the Knuckle Down achievement upon completion. Eventually, I see a familiar face appear on the world map. My nemesis, Black Knight. Upon running into him, we get our first glimpse of the Enchantress. Turns out our boy Black Knight is a simp. This boss fight was very similar to the first one, only he has more health. I defeat him by reflecting one of his blasts and get the You're Fired achievement. I then go on to this mysterious castle. After reluctantly handing over $5,000 to this peacock, we head inside. It appears to be some sort of haunted house, as ghosts start appearing from the paintings on the walls. I find these orbs that you can actually use to defeat the ghosts and proceed to rid the place of its ectoplasmic pests. After defeating all the ghosts, I finally arrive at a secret boss fight. It is a giant version of the ghosts I had been fighting that shoots around the room. Luckily, there were 2 orbs I could use to whittle away Casper's health. After defeating the ghoul, I get the Hall Champion achievement. On my way out, the peacock that charged me an entire semester's tuition even decided to pay me back $50. Wow, thanks dude, you're just too generous. Next level. The gimmick here is slippery ice physics. Every jump feels like I'm wearing greased shoes and stopping is optional. Chester, somehow not frozen solid, sells me the war horn here. A relic that blasts everything on screen with a loud trumpet sound. Honestly, not bad. It's expensive, but there's something really cathartic about screaming enemies to death. As we make our way through the frozen wasteland, we come across these goofy Viking enemies that stand on one foot and throw spears at you. I don't want to kill dragons anymore, Dad. Finally, we face Polar Knight, and oh boy, this dude is huge. Easily the largest knight in the order, rocking a massive snow shovel like he's ready to clear a Canadian driveway in January. Through our dialogue, it seems as though we were close with Polar Knight before he joined the Empress's ranks. His attacks are scary. He hurls giant snowballs at you and then smashes the ground, revealing spikes in the floor. And yes, you do die if you touch them. He's even immune to shovel bouncing. Dude, you are the first boss that doesn't let me just repeatedly bonk you on the head. After burying Polar Knight, we fight the final wandering boss in the game, the Weatherman. This guy can control lightning and the direction of wind through his oddly shaped sword. We best him in a 1v1 and he leaves, understanding that we are not the enemy. I also pick up the Well Met achievement. Now I head straight into the next level. Here we have some sort of workshop with gears and conveyors everywhere. The trick with these is not to panic. One wrong button press and a conveyor will send you into the abyss. Chester, the king of price gouging, sells me the mobile gear here, which is a little rideable platform that helps you cross spikes and gaps. Pretty neat, seems very situational though. You might have noticed that this level and the previous one have not had mini-bosses. Not sure if the devs ran out of ideas, but I mean, I'm not one to complain about the levels being a bit easier. Finally, we fight Tinker Knight, and I kid you not, this has to be the most pathetic first phase of any boss in gaming history. Dude just runs back and forth throwing wrenches at you and is dressed like he's about to pick up a shift at Home Depot. But of course, after beating him, he hops into a giant mech. As imposing as this is, he isn't actually that much more difficult a boss. Once you work your way up to the cockpit, he is just sitting there, head exposed for shovel bouncing. After sending Tony Stark to the grave, I head into the next level. Heading into this level, I realize that this is not going to be easy. Fans and gusts of wind blowing everywhere, pushing me around like I'm a plastic bag drifting through the wind. The main gimmick here is obviously the wind gusts, which sound cool in theory, but in practice just means constantly fighting the controls while praying I don't float straight into a spike pit. Enemies here are some of the most annoying in the game. Airship soldiers dive bomb me with swords, little propeller rats zoom around knocking me off ledges, and these green propeller people push you around at the worst possible times. Genuinely, I think I have more deaths to these green enemies than any other enemy or boss in the run. Chester shows up again, and this time he's selling the propeller dagger, which lets you dash horizontally in midair. And let me tell you, this relic is solid. It's basically a panic button for bad jumps. The devs decided that they do indeed want mini-bosses, and we arrive at this flying ship enemy. It shoots bombs and attempts to slam down on you. After a few shovel bounces, it winds up defeated. Finally, we face Propeller Knight. Nobody can convince me that this guy is not French. I mean, look at the guy. He likes to dance around the screen and push me off ledges with his fan hat. He even calls in an airship bombardment mid-fight, because why not? This boss teaches you patience. He flies high up in the air, then when he dive bombs you, that's when you strike. After getting out of this level, I realize I'm strikingly close to collecting 50,000 gold, which will give me the Order of Hoarders achievement. I decide to play through the very first level a few times before I lose all the gold I had collected thus far in the coming levels. Take this time to farm some achievements. I even learned that you can stun lock Black Knight using the ground spark technique. After reaching 50,000 gold, I also collected the Relic Round Table, Sparker, No Damage, On a Diet, and the Shovel Economy achievements. I also go back to Tropal King, as I learned he is hiding a music sheet, and to sample each of his Ickers for the I Scream for Icker achievement. I finally play through the Propeller Dagger minigame, and I also realized that I am not as good at this game as I thought I was. Moving into the next level, it is very evident that we are now approaching the end game. The looks and sounds of this level are purely evil. At the same time, can we just take a second to appreciate the music in this level? Best music in the game, you won't change my mind. We make it to the first mini-boss and we see our old friend from the King Knight level. Only it looks like he got a skin transplant. Flare Wand ends up being useful for the first time in the run, and I take him out. I navigate through the castle, somehow only dying a handful of times. We run into the light switch mechanic again and finally end up at the boss. We are face to face with Black Knight for a third time, only this time the Enchantress gives him wings. Giving this guy wings apparently turns him into a god. He shoots fireballs from the sky and can crack open boulders as if they're eggs, and he's making himself the world's biggest omelet. We finally defeat him and learn some interesting lore. Turns out he's only gotten close to the Empress to attempt to get closer to freeing Shield Knight, our girlfriend. Oh boy, is this next level a fun one, so strap in. And I mean that both literally and sarcastically. The initial portion of this level isn't so bad. I just traverse over pits of lava while fighting off enemies we've seen previously as well as new ones. You have to traverse a giant chasm using a platform that you are meant to push with your shovel. Sounds not so bad, right? Wrong. They decide to throw my biggest op at me, the green propeller dudes. If you recall to the start of this video when I said I had to take multiple gamer breaks, this is one of them. Oh yeah, let's put 100 of these fan enemies to push me off this tiny little platform. I got up and went for a quick walk. After I was done, I came back, died a couple more times, and finally made it to the next part. After this, it was smooth sailing. Eventually I make it to this odd hole in the ground. If I've learned anything from this game, it's to just jump right in, right? I hit the bottom just to be met by the entire Order of No Quarter at the dinner table, and it appears that I am the main course. This part's actually a lot of fun. It's essentially just a boss gauntlet where you square off against every knight we've beaten thus far. After defeating the final knight, which happens to be Treasure Knight, I am left with a choice. You see, each of these knights that I've defeated is hanging off the side of the map, and you're given the choice of saving or leaving them to fall. But me being the selfless hero that I am, I decide to help each of them back up. Finally, after helping each of them up, we complete the level. After beating the last level, a new area of the map appears, unlocking what I can only imagine is the final level. Upon entering this level, you are meant to drop down like 7 stories. Sir Spade apparently has ankles of steel. You are locked in a room left to survive a Zelda-style trap. The floor launches itself up from beneath you, causing damage and revealing pits of lava. Completing this mini puzzle / trap, the path forward unlocks. The next section has invisible flooring that only appears when you're close to it. I head left to a secret area that grants me 5 whole music sheets. After making my way through this invisible floor area, I find myself within what feels like an endless hallway, with every set of candles ominously lighting up around me. At the end of the hallway, I run into the one and only Enchantress. Only thing is, I did not realize how chill she was. She runs through some pretty basic fireball attacks until you bring down her health a little bit. She then hurdles herself below you and starts breaking out the floor from beneath. I found that as long as I was patient, I was able to damage her a little bit every time she came back up to throw fireballs. After landing the final hit on the Enchantress, she explodes, revealing my long-lost girlfriend, Shield Knight. As she falls down from above, I recall all the training I've had previously and catch her with ease. What seems to be a very heartwarming moment between our two lovers is unfortunately cut short, as the Enchantress does not seem to be quite done yet. She appears in a giant form blasting balls of energy towards Shield Knight and myself. After every set of her attacks, however, Shield Knight jumps up into the air and holds her shield up, allowing us to shovel bounce off the shield and onto the Enchantress's dome. After getting her down to one more heart, she decided to slam down and drop the floor from beneath me. Dude, you cannot be serious. I repeat the same process as before and make sure I'm avoiding the gaps in the floor this time. I eventually land my final hit. Just when I thought it was over, she blasts me with an immense blast of her balls. Shield Knight immediately jumps up to block the rest of the blast when none other than Black Knight comes in to save the day. As Black Knight carries me out of the castle, the room crumbles down around the Enchantress and Shield Knight. The Enchantress is finally defeated, and I land the victory achievement. We then pan all the way back to the village as we watch the evil castle crumble down as everyone begins celebrating. We then get a pretty cool show of all characters we met along the way and what they got up to after the defeat of the Enchantress. Turns out, King Knight isn't the real king. The wandering travelers are taking out the rest of the enemy forces, and Propeller Knight is impressing the Huzz with his French longsword. We ended off with Polar Knight and what I can only assume is his dog, just straight up aura farming. Like, dude, save some for the rest of us. After the credits roll, we get a heartfelt moment of Shield Knight limping over to lie down next to us at the campfire. The main story is now complete, but we've still got a good few achievements to pick up. The first thing I do after completing the main story is going back in to pick up all the miscellaneous relic achievements, such as getting 3 kills with 1 anchor, killing 3 enemies with the propeller dagger without touching the ground, etc. In case anyone was curious for some of the more difficult ones, I'll go over a few right now. Getting 3 kills with 1 anchor is very simple to complete on the first level in the game. The dragon boss's bubbles count as enemies, so just huck an anchor at those and you're golden. The same thing with the bounce the alchemical coin 5 times achievement. Just throw it at the dragon and then hit it with your shovel every time it returns to you. Any of these challenges where you need to kill 5 enemies in quick succession, such as Super Sphere, can be done on one of the secret areas on the Plague Knight level. In addition to these, I also completed Flying Feet, Boom, Reflect Lord, and Flare Wander. After this, I needed to complete a level without getting hit. This actually wasn't as bad as it may sound. I went in on the King Knight level and just sprinted through it. During the boss fight, I used the Phase Locket anytime I thought I would take damage, and then we got our Untouched achievement. I played through the same level to complete the Dirt Poor achievement. I then realized I am still missing one of Banjo Knight's music sheets. After a little help from Google, I realized it was in front of me this whole time. Down in the room with Frogman, you can break open the wall to the left, revealing our final music sheet. Upon returning the final sheets to Banjo Knight, he was ecstatic. We also picked up the Music Lover achievement, and I then went to speak to Frogman, as we still had to listen to the rest of his puns. After sitting through the pain and suffering that happened next, we grabbed the Pungent achievement. Now, it's at this point that the rest of the achievements we require are all going to come from repeatedly playing the game over and over again. First up, we have the Again achievement. You get this from playing through the New Game Plus. New Game Plus is just the same game, but you get to start with all of the equipment you had in your previous playthrough. Additionally, everything does twice as much damage as it normally would, no food to heal in the levels, and less checkpoints in each level as well. Really, they should just call it Phase Locket Plus, as I spammed this relic to get through a lot of the levels pretty quick. There's just one level that legitimately took the soul out of me. This was the second last level in the game. For one, there's just the one checkpoint right before the boss fight, so you had to make your way through the entire level without dying just to get to that point. And 2, this was the boss gauntlet level where every boss did double damage, and you only got food every second boss you defeat. I'll take this time to roll some footage of me sinking further and further into despair. It's just stupid. Like, this boss fight is just stupid. After finally beating that level, oh my gosh. The final boss wasn't too bad, and we grabbed ourselves the Again achievement. Next we move on to beating the game without spending any money. I won't spend too much time going over this one. I got a few free meal tickets from progressing through the story, but other than that, I was on my own. It really wasn't all that bad, as I had already played through the game twice by now. After completing this, I got the True Chivalry and Penny Pincher achievements. Next, I had to beat the game in 1 hour and 30 minutes. The thing about this one is that I completed my no money spending run in a bit over 2 hours, so I really knew I had my work cut out for me here. For anyone who is looking to score that achievement, I'll share a few little tricks to save some time. First, only ever visit the village twice. Once after you get your first free meal ticket, and then after you get your second free meal ticket. While there, spend as much money as you can on meal tickets and the phase locket. By the time you get the third free meal ticket, there will be so many wandering enemies on the map that traveling backwards will not be worth it. Another tip is using the mobile gear. The mobile gear is the only other relic I would consider purchasing. The main reason for this is that you can actually skip the entire first phase of the Tinker Knight boss fight. All you gotta do is smack that little guy with your item and he falls straight into the next phase. Throughout this playthrough, I did actually die a few times, but lucky for me, there is some leeway given in this achievement. By the time I make it to the last few levels, I'm definitely feeling the pressure. I honestly started to lose hope a little bit, as I only had about 20 minutes left when I entered the boss gauntlet in the second last level. But right then and there, I decided I was not going to speedrun the entire game again, so I locked in. I beat every boss in record time and moved on to the final level. I sped through the initial portion of this level and made it to the Enchantress. I managed to quickly defeat her first phase to move on to the final fight. I started to panic a little bit, but I managed to keep my cool as I knew that if I died, the run would be over. Just when I went down to my final heart, I got the last hit on the Enchantress to end her reign of terror. As I spammed my way through the cutscenes that came next, I got the Hurry Up achievement. And in case you were wondering, my final time was 1 hour and 26 minutes. Feel free to let me know what your speedrun time is down below. After my speedrun playthrough, there was just one thing left that I had to do. I had to beat the game without dying. Not only would this land me the impossible achievement, but I would also get the perfect platformer achievement by not dying to a pit, and the checkpointless achievement if I destroyed every checkpoint in the game. I won't show too much of this, as it is just me beating the game for 100th time. A few tips for anyone wishing to complete this themselves. The only relics I used were, you guessed it, the phase locket, plus the booming horn. The horn I only really used when I wanted to quickly take out one of the green propeller enemies to not give him the chance of sending me to the gulag. The phase locket here was just used to quickly skip through boss fights as well as any dangerous areas of levels. The trick with this playthrough is just take your time. There's no time limit, so I just moved through these levels at my own pace, only making moves when I knew it was absolutely safe, especially around spikes and ledges. I've had enough practice on each level now that I honestly know these levels like the back of my hand. I make my way to the final level and send the Enchantress to the grave yet again. I skip through the credits and claim my achievements. Well, there you have it. I completed 100% of Shovel Knight. Now, my honest review of the game. I did have a lot of fun playing through this game. If you're a fan of 2D platformers, I'd definitely give this game a go. It's pretty approachable for any level gamer out there. In all honesty, the base game itself isn't super difficult once you get a handle on the controls. If you really want a challenge, I highly recommend playing through the New Game Plus. The lack of checkpoints and healing items really make the levels much more of a challenge and some of the boss fights much scarier. Not to mention double damage. Well, I will not be playing this game again anytime soon, as I beat it about 15 times it seems, I can see myself coming back to this game in the future for some casual fun. Maybe in co-op mode with a friend. And if you're still here, subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos, and let me know down below what you want to see me play next.